How are you?
I'm alright. You alright?
Very good indeed.
You're asking me like you haven't seen me in ages.
I know. With you, with me.
Hi everyone! Welcome to Get Now TV's second. That's 4. That's confusing. You just do 1. Podcast.
Second podcast.
Second podcast.
So we put out a call for ideas. And
We asked the people.
and the peoples have spoken. So what we are going to be talking about today.
I have no idea, by the way.
I know.
Like,
I like it
this
way.
is just
Because it's going to be you and what you think.
uncensored. This is dangerous territory.
I don't think it's going to be uncensored.
Oh.
I might have to
Bleep, 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 bleep.
bleep into out, yeah. But today we're going to talk about a nail tech's journey. Not yours, not anyone else's, but things you'd wish you'd known
Oh gosh.
before.
There's so
you
much I
become a
wish
nail
I
tech.
had known.
Exactly, which is why this is a good subject to cover.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So we're going to go over a few things that you wish you'd known
Yeah.
before you started.
Yeah.
Things that you now know, little nuggets that you'd like to pass on to other nail techs around the world.
Don't do it. No, I'm joking.
And
Can I pick him up?
You can pick him up if you want.
He
yeah.
wants my love. There we go. Right, he's happy now.
Everyone, this is Richmond. Richmond,
Hello.
this is YouTube world and the Get Nailed world.
My fur baby.
Yeah.
Because I'm not allowed another real one. Well, human baby.
Yeah, not another human being.
He's real.
Yeah. So you've been in the game how long?
That makes it sound like I'm like...
I said in the game, not on the game. Big difference.
So I started in a salon
Nail
or
tech.
qualified?
Nail tech, qualified nail tech, doing nails.
Okay, so I was 20 years.
20 years.
Not old. 20 years I've been
20 years.
in the game, not on the game.
Yeah, in the game.
I've only been doing that a few months. It's not going very well.
Cost of living crisis.
Needs must.
And a lot's changed in that time.
My goodness. Well, gel polish didn't even exist when I did my training.
Yeah. So there's been a massive transition period over the last 20 years. And I'm sure there's going to be even more of a transition period over maybe the next 20 years. But I think with regards to product side of things, I think you've got obviously your acrylic, you've got your gel,
Yep.
you've got your gel polishes.
Yep.
I think that's kind of got to the point where that's going to be the staple, probably forever moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, you've obviously got like your acrogels and things like
Polygels
that,
and
polygel dip systems
dip
that
systems
came
and
in
things
that have
like
then gone out because they're not very hygienic. But yeah, your staple, I think we've reached the peak in our industry with regard to types of product.
And now it's just going to be developing those products
Yeah.
to maybe make the products better
Yeah,
and
like
longer lasting.
and also the chemical composition of things and stuff. Because acrylic, especially, has massively changed since I did my training.
Because you speak quite openly and give a lot of information, not only in the learning zone, but on your acrylic training courses.
Available on the website.
Available on the website, www.getnailbylaurent.com.
What way does it go?
It's going to go this way or that way. It's going to be there.
Who knows?
And looking at your training manual that you have in comparison to a lot of other educators out there, I mean, we've seen training manuals for acrylic that were, 4 or 5 pages long? And yours is how many pages?
Are we including anatomy and physiology?
You can include it as well. 'Cause
I think
part
it's
of it.
about 300.
About 300 pages
Yeah.
of information.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that you know about not only acrylic, but gels, gel polishes,
My trade.
the composition makeup. And that's something that you've developed over, obviously, realistically though, over the last 5 years. The amount of knowledge you have, I mean, I mean,
I wouldn't say that.
you started off in a good place, though, didn't you? You started off, your training was with one of the best trainers in the UK.
Which I didn't know at the time.
No, but you'd come to know that
Since
that
very,
actually
very fortunate.
she was, I don't know if she still is training,
I don't
but
think
she
so,
was one of the best educators in the UK, and that was, her name was
Jackie Jefford.
who worked very closely with
She was
CND, wasn't she?
So technically I did my training with CND. And Jackie Jefford was my educator. So they had the academy that Jackie and her family had the academy that I went to, but I was under the umbrella of CND, which is why I fangirl over Sam Sweet like I did.
Yeah.
Samuel
So we met Sam at the Scratch Awards back last year, and unbeknownst to me, I'd met Sam at the bar beforehand because the bar had just shut
True
off
story.
serving because they were about to start doing the awards, and they weren't serving drinks while the awards were happening.
Your relationship was kindled over bottles of gin.
Over bottles of gin that they weren't serving, fuming. And then we went out and we started speaking to Sam, and I realised who he was.
Yeah.
And actually, we had a really
my
inspiring
days. Yeah.
conversation with him.
So cool.
We
were both very drunk.
Yeah, you were very drunk, but
we were at a party though,
yeah.
so it's fine.
But he was really
incredible.
open and
Yeah.
honest about the industry with us, because obviously we've got our product range now, and we're talking to him about what we're doing.
To be fair, I think he could feel my vibe as well, though, because I was at the point where I was like, no holds barred. I was like, I love you.
And the conversation you had, you were like, oh, and you did these bunny's ears on this French, and I was just like, oh. I was just like, oh my days. But he was really open and honest with us about the industry and about what we're getting ourselves into with our product range and everything else, which
cool.
We're super proud of, and he was so supportive.
Yeah.
So if you do ever get to see the Sam, thank you, because it really was an eye-opener for us, and you probably don't remember it because you were very, very drunk.
If he comments on this podcast, I will be like,
God, no one tags Sam in it. So that's where you started your training. CND, Jackie Jefford.
Yeah. Against my will.
Against your will, because you didn't even want to be a nail tech at the time. You were studying law.
Yeah. True story.
At Southampton University.
Yep.
And you wanted to become a lawyer.
Barrister, actually.
A barrister.
Yeah. I wanted the wig. It was for the fashion. I wanted the wig and the gown.
I was a barrister once. Costa.
No, that's barista, darling.
I wondered why I didn't have to do that much training for it. I was like, all these people do years of training. I just come in and just nailed it. But obviously, that was your start into the nail world.
And my first ever bit of nail art was Betty Boop. And I did it all with a dotting tool. Just saying.
Oh, how did that work out?
I thought it was amazing at the time. I should have kept her, but obviously I didn't.
Are we going to talk about Thumper?
No.
No, not talk about Thumper. I'll put a picture up now.
Fuming!
But at the time, you were so proud of,
Yeah.
And you had a period there of maybe 12, 13 years where it was just a case of sitting down, doing your ladies,
French and reds,
and the odd change of colour here and there, but there was no real call or need for nail art or crystals.
Then glitter acrylic came in, and coloured acrylic came in. I remember I bought my first set of coloured acrylics from CND because I was a CND girl. Not affiliated with them at all, but trained with their product. No, it's not. Trained with them, so it was just natural for me to use their products. And I remember buying my first set. I think that it was a set of 9 coloured acrylics, and using them for the first time. And I was like, oh, this is amazing!
Game changer.
Yeah, and then glitter acrylics came in, and I remember I was over here then, and I was working in the salon in Poole. And everyone was having glitter acrylic French. Like, that was... God, it got so boring. But that's what that was the thing. And then all of a sudden, gel polish came about. Changed the game massively. And then nail art. I think our industry is massively led by celebrities, social media. So the nail art and the introduction to colour and different looks and everything else came into play when social media really started to take off, because people could then, you weren't just watching the telly and seeing what newsreaders had on their nails.
They could showcase what they were doing.
Yeah, so that again changed my nail world, especially.
We'll come on social media again a bit later, because I've got a few things that, I think people sometimes look at social media the wrong way, but we'll come on to that in a moment. And then obviously quite later on in your career, you started trying your hand.
I don't know what he's going to say.
At nail art. This is going to be so
Are you
fun.
self-censoring and filtering?
Very much self-censoring.
Good. Okay. Cool.
So obviously, a lot later on in your career, you came into the nail art side of things, which led you on to then competing.
I didn't mean to do that though.
No.
Like, that was very client-led.
Yeah.
And then realised, because obviously I love art, I'm very crafty. I'll look at things and I'll be like, I'm not buying that, I can make it.
Well, you did pop art as your A-levels.
And I did A-level, yeah.
That's
so
cool.
And art was my passion. It kind of runs through the family. We're all quite arty.
Yeah.
Like, going back as well. So, it was a breath of fresh air for me to be able to all of a sudden be able to pick up an art brush and
create tiny little masterpieces.
Tiny little miniatures.
Yeah. Tiny little miniatures. And that's the thing, they are pieces of art. I look at some people's work and I'm just like, if that was on a canvas and bigger, that would be displayed somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's the same, when I look at your work sometimes, I'm like, that's just incredible. So we get to the nail art stage of things.
Yeah.
You then enter competitions.
Yeah.
You've won multiple competitions all around the world. You're a multi-award-winning nail artist, international nail artist, multi-international award-winning nail artist.
Got there in the end.
Blimey. And which has led us on to us doing the Get Nailed Championships, which is something that
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Like, if Richmond wasn't on my lap, I'd be clapping.
If you want more information on the Get Nailed Championships, it is all over on the website, which is www.getnailedbylauramcbride.com. You can come down there. So head on over if you are interested in competing and have a look at that.
It's also mentioned in Nailing Life, which is our little mini mag.
Again, on the homepage of the website, www.getnailedbylauramcbride.com. Yeah, it is worth reading. There's a little bit about competing there. There's a little bit about trends in there. There's a little bit. There's some offers in there for different things. So that's kind of brought us up to now, really, and where we are. So looking back over the last 20 years, which...
You make me feel old when you say that.
20 years.
I'm only 24.
I picked up an acrylic brush when I was 3.
Yeah.
What were the things that you've learned and you've adjusted? I know it's put you on the spot, but this is going to give us
massively put me on the spot.
Honest answers.
Ask me again.
So what are the things that you've learned along the way which will help people out there not to make the same mistakes or the pitfalls or things that you may have done differently that you now know that you didn't know at the start?
Oh, blimey. Okay. So I wouldn't have done anything differently.
Okay.
Because, oh God, I'm going to sound really cheesy.
Go on.
A mistake is only a mistake if you don't learn from it. So taking it back, I never had the powers that be that are social media. So for me, I would have textbooks. Like, we didn't even have like downloadable, like the internet. It was obviously a thing, but nowhere
wasn't
near.
utilised
No,
the way
no.
it is now.
Like, I was really fancy if I could use Microsoft Publisher, you know? So, I was textbooks and just led by clients, which is why the dotting tool was the item to use. So it was very much learning on the job, very much learning from the people around you. But when I very first started, I was the nail tech. So I couldn't really learn. I only had to learn from my mistakes. So I would do a client's set of nails and then I'd be like, I shouldn't do that again. So that's how I learn. And then I was fortunate enough to be in a salon with some incredible nail techs, and that's when I really started to hone my skills, because when I wasn't doing a client, I'd be stood over their shoulder watching them do a client, and there's so many little bits and pieces that I picked up without realising I had picked it up, because I was just watching them, and like filing routines and things like that I've just developed over the years. But I wouldn't change a thing. I would probably, and that's the thing as well with social media. I mean, I don't know what you're going to chat about in a minute, but that for people now is their salon environment, because so many people work on their own. They work in a cabin. They're mobile. It's so the news feed of nails, or nail feed if you look at my phone, is the salon now for a lot of people. So don't look at other people in envy. Don't look at other people and be like, I can't do that, because there's always going to be someone better than you.
Yeah. That's exactly what I want to say about social media. A lot of people look at it and they're envious, or I can't do that. That's just not possible.
Whereas the mindset for that should be, I'm going to have a go at that.
I'm going to have a go at that.
Yeah.
Or finding out, is there a workshop on how I can do that? And then
or go for training with that person. Do whatever it is.
There's so many things. Like, you need to use social media as inspiration.
Yeah.
Rather than something that deflates you and makes you think you can't achieve things. Yeah. So you didn't have that, obviously. No. So all of yours was born off of actually having that passion.
I've actually got a book, and it's right there. I can see it, that I've still got now from when I bought. So I did my training at the.
Where is it?
It's just there, right there,
here?
up there. I did my training at the salon, at the CND, and this book had just come out, and it was for sale in the shop. So when we were buying our products, when we were buying our brush, when we were, they were catching us as we went out and made their God knows how much. And this was me. This was how I got through my nail life. And yeah.
But looking back, it's only, the last page hasn't got anything on.
No, because that's for notes.
That's for notes.
There's lots of notes.
So there's only there's only about 85 pages.
Yeah.
But
that was my Bible.
That was everything you needed to know about the nail world.
Or what I had learned on my course, yeah.
And this is obviously a book by Gigi.
Yeah.
Who is an incredible...
It's the CND mama.
Yep. And that's who you looked up to, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When you were... Like, a lot of nail techs message you now saying, oh, you're an inspiration, I really look up to you. You're their Gigi, and she was the person that you looked up to.
Well, the thing is, and that brings us back to the conversation that I had with Sam, is that I went up to the nail show, and that's why beauty shows were so popular back in the day. Back in my day. Because
during the war.
Because that's where you went. That was your social platform.
Yeah. So
that's where you met people. That's where you got inspiration from. That's where you got to see new products. That's where you got to see the demos of new products. And that's what I was talking to Sam about, because I remember going to the CND stand and he had a demo desk there, and he wasn't the demonstrator. I can't even remember who it was. And he basically kicked the demonstrator out of the chair and did a French pink and white, traditionally how I was originally taught. Reverse Frenches weren't a thing then. And he put the bead on and then did the bunny ears, and the line was just, perfect. And then he did his pink, and then he got up and he walked away.
My work here is
My
done.
work here is done. I'll see you later. Like, we didn't even have top coat to be able to, after we've done our acrylic, we didn't have top coat. We had to buff it. We had to work through our files and buff to that high shine until it squeaked. So it was very different back then. And when I was talking to Sam, I told him about this moment that I'll always remember. And he said to me, but some people are looking at you and you're doing that for them.
You're creating those moments for them now.
And it was that moment that I was like, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, the nail world was very, very different. But I wouldn't change a thing. Going back to your original question, I wouldn't change a thing. What have I learned from it? I learned something new every single day.
Yeah. You never stop learning.
Every day.
And I think you alluded to this in the last podcast, was that once you feel you've got nothing else to learn, you might as well give up, because you never know everything.
No.
You will never know everything.
Because it's constantly evolving. The industry is constantly evolving. It's constantly growing. There's constantly a new wave of people. There's new trends. There's new fashions, new colours, new products, new developments. It's constantly moving. And you can't stand still in this industry. You have to keep moving with it. Because the second you stand still, you become the past. I don't want to be in the past.
Getting on a bit. You are getting on a bit.
I am getting on a bit.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier about you started off in the salon.
Yeah.
Okay, so for you,
Yeah.
what is the best way for any nail tech, whether they be new or old or looking to upskill, what's the best way to do it? Is it to start off in a salon and then move home, or stay in a salon, or start at home, or what's the best? Everyone's got different individual needs. And
I think so.
Generally.
If you had asked me that 10 years ago, I would have said, do your course, get in a salon, 100%. But that has changed now, and I think people go into becoming a nail technician for lots of different reasons, and people's needs are very different as well. And again, we don't have that need for being in a salon, because we can access that information in a whole host of different ways now. So 10 years ago, be in a salon. Now, just get yourself out there. Be present on news feeds. If you have a question, ask. And give credit where credit's due. If you like a set of nails and someone else has done it, it's okay to tell them that it is a banging set of nails.
Yeah.
I think people
It's okay to hit that heart button on
Yeah,
Instagram. It's okay to hit that thumbs up button on Facebook.
Because if you were working in a salon and that was your colleague and they were sending out a banging set of nails, you'd tell them.
Yeah, of course.
You'd be like, babe, they were amazing.
Yeah.
So why don't we do that on social feeds? Because that's our real life, constantly evolving every minute of the day salon. So I would say upskill where you can, learn where you can. When you make a mistake, learn from it, and do you. Because everyone's on a completely different journey. It's a bit like when you have a baby, right? And you go, oh God, just bear with me.
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay? So, and then you have a little baby and you're like, oh, it's my little baby. And then you go to toddler groups with other mums and they're like, oh, my baby's sleeping through the night. oh, my baby's crawling, is yours? And you're like, no. But nobody doesn't not crawl. Have I said that right?
Nobody crawls for their entire life. Eventually, everyone walks.
We're going to get there. My baby's going to get there.
I've never turned up to a date and my date's just crawled in and gone, Mum and Dad never taught me how to walk.
Like, my baby's going to get there. Great that your baby's there now. But my baby does things that your baby's not going to do for another 6 months.
Yeah.
So, and that's the nail world. Because what you know, someone else might not know, and vice versa.
Vice versa, yeah. No, I like that analogy.
Do you like that?
It started off going way, way out there, but then it came around and...
I brought it back, babe, didn't I?
You did, no.
Thanks.
Nailed it.
And I looked at Richmond like my baby.
My baby. Okay, so that said, so we've spoke about you wouldn't change anything, but we've also spoken about how everyone's journey's different.
Yeah. So different.
What do you feel are the common pitfalls that people may come across?
What, in their nail journey?
Yeah.
I think the biggest mistake people can make is compare themselves to others. Because like we just said, everyone's on a different journey.
Yeah.
And also, everyone makes those rookie errors of their shaping isn't quite right, their ratios aren't quite right or whatever. But the common mistake people make is think that they've got it. Because you've never got it.
No.
You
get too cocky with it.
Yeah.
You start to... And that happens when you first do your training as well. Yeah.
So you'll first start to do your training, like complete newbie, yeah? So you first start to do your training and you do it and you're like, I've got this, I'm all right. I just need to keep going. And then you keep going and you'll do about 6 months worth of clients and you'll start building your clientele and you get really confident and you're like, yeah, I'm banging sets out now, yeah, I'm really good. And then all of a sudden, you'll get issues start to arise, like lifting, cracking, peeling. Clients will start breaking their nails. You're not quite getting your shaping right. That doesn't look right for a certain reason. You'll have clients that have contraindications that, you haven't come across before. And so you're up here and then all of a sudden something will happen and really knock your confidence. And then you're like, I can't do it. And then you have to be like, sort yourself out. Come on, you've got this. And then the learning process starts again. A bit like, ready, when you start to drive. Okay. So, I'm talking from experience.
Yeah, obviously.
So when you start to drive, your driving instructor will teach you how to pass your driving test. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Mm-hmm. And then you've passed your test. And then they're like, right, off you go then, bye. And you're like,
I remember that vividly.
I don't know how to drive. And
everything sort of just goes out the window. You're like,
and then you learn how to drive.
Yeah.
So, and that's very similar to the nail world.
And I think in this industry, when people start to doubt themselves, you can really, because you're creative people, you're very reflective of your mistakes and you don't celebrate your successes enough.
No.
You're very reflective people. And I think that's one thing that if you're in this industry, you need to be very mindful of. Very mindful of.
Absolutely. It's very easy to get in your own head.
Yeah. And
start to spiral down and very difficult to get back up. So, and that's how I think in life in general, how how people look at you. It's not, how you get knocked down, it's how you get back up again and come back, learn from it, go again. 100%.
And I think as well, the industry can be very difficult at times, but if you surround yourself with the right people,
absolutely, yeah,
in the right groups,
yeah,
with the right support, you will see how much you can improve as a nail tech and as a person.
Yeah.
Because you get out of your head, you start taking on feedback, you start enjoying what you're doing and getting better at it. And that's similar to sort of competing in a way, because the more you compete, the more feedback you get, the better you get. And then you start to take
and it transfers into your day-to-day nail
exactly
world.
what I was going to say. Yeah, every day you'll do a set of nails and look at it and think, would I be happy putting that in front of a judge?
Yeah.
And admittedly, most of the time you are happy, but there has been maybe a
But
handful of occasions.
before you do that, you're judging it yourself.
Yeah.
And also, people forget when we're doing nails, the most important judge of all is your client.
Yeah.
They're the ones. So they're the ones that are choosing to sit with you, choosing for you to do the service for them, whatever it may be, and also paying you. So, you know, people say, oh, no, I can't do a competition. I'm like, well, you do it every day in front of your client. Your client's judging you the whole time that they're sat having their nails done.
I mean, if anything, that should be worse because they're paying you.
Yeah.
So if you can
But
sit
nobody
there...
looks at it like that.
No.
Nobody thinks that their client's that real life judge. And I'm really sorry if I've put that in your head and you're now, you know, worried about doing that client. But it's true.
It's true. And if you can sit
client's
there
the first
and
judge,
do your
you're
clients,
the second.
you can compete.
Absolutely. It's just a set of nails.
Yeah.
It's just a set of nails.
Just a set of nails. So I think we've covered everything. I think we've covered everything from like how you came through your nail career.
Yeah.
The pitfalls that people will find.
Yeah. And that's not to say that, you know, I mean, my nail journey with you has switched a little bit now, with regard to the brand and everything else and those little spanners I keep chucking in, but I still, every single day, and you'll vouch for this because you're here, every single day we have to learn something, and we have to learn something real quick, and we have to learn how to overcome it and then move on. But what you've learned from, or the pitfall that you've come up against yesterday, is going to be forgotten about by the time you get to a pitfall today.
Yeah. And the thing I would say, you can't get emotional about it. The second you get emotional about it, you're going to make more mistakes. You're going to put more pressure on yourself.
But if it's something that you love, it is only natural to get emotional.
I get that. Completely get that. And I do. It's been a labour of love for me, but I have learnt to love the nail industry and everything about it. Whereas previously, you know, to me, you're just doing some nails in the back room chatting to your mates. I said this in the last podcast. But I've learnt to love this industry and it's incredible. And I just want to see it grow. I want to see everyone who's within the Get Nail family grow.
Yeah.
And if there's growth happening, that means the industry's thriving.
Yeah, and we're all moving in the same direction.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter how fast one person's moving to the other, as long as we're all moving forward together. Do you like that?
I like that. I like that a lot.
My little pearls of wisdom.
Right, guys, well, thank you for joining us for episode 2 of the Get Nailed podcast. There will be lots more heading your way. What I would like to say first before we go... If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I've looked at the stats. 87% of the people that watch our videos aren't subscribed to our channel. There's a little button down there. Hit that button. It's down.
Like,
down
subscribe,
there.
and hit the notification bell so that you can stay updated with everything that is Get Nailed TV.
You've done that before.
I have done that before.
Many times. But if you could subscribe, it means the world to us.
Yeah,
and it means
it
we
does
can
mean the
continue
world.
doing what we love doing, which is chatting, and giving out little pearls of knowledge to you guys. So thank you again so much for joining us today. And you said you got an outro. Have you got an outro?
No.
You haven't got an outro.
I was going to sing you a song, but...
What were you going to sing?
I don't know. Make one up, innit?
You can't do that. You get demonetised on YouTube. Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys.
Bye.
And we will see you all soon.
See you later.
Bye.